I think the values that I saw in Hizmet a lot with is taking what in Islam, such as devotion to God and loyalty to God or Allah, looking at serving other people and truly living a religion in practice. Interfaith dialogue and what Hizmet does for it. This is where Hizmet shines. To the world. My perception of Gülen is that it's paramount. That's what I am Matthew Lammi. I am the proud father of 6 children and happily married for 15 years. I'm originally from the West Coast, and I moved here to the East Coast, and I learned more about Turkey and Hizmet through the Divan Center. For my job, I am an assistant professor at North Carolina State University in the Department of STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math Education. My basic understanding of Hizmet through the readings, through what I've experienced and read, and looking at newspapers, it's a value about creating an understanding through dialogue, that we can speak a different language, have a completely different culture, and religions that can seem disparate, but it's trying to bring together instead of looking for what's different, looking for what we share in common, and celebrating the differences, such as even having the food. What differences do we have that we enjoy? I think the values that I saw in Hizmet a lot with is taking what in Islam, such as devotion to God and loyalty to God or Allah, looking at serving other people and truly living a religion in practice. Because very often, it doesn't matter where you live, what religion it may be, people may be part of a religion as a social, they grew up with it. But Hizmet is, well, let's live our religion. Let's do something about it. Let's help children who can't help themselves go to school with tutoring. Let's help create a dialogue with those from another country and put our money where our mouth is. And that's what, I'm not an expert on Hizmet, but that's what I'm able to perceive. I have seen what Fethullah Gulen has done. I've read what Fethullah Gulen did as he started as I believe he was a cleric, Muslim cleric, and how he became very popular from how he'd preach, I guess I say the word, and I believe it was in Izmir, and what he did in Izmir, and how he saw the people and wanted to empower the people. And it wasn't just a higher class. It was reaching to those who were disadvantaged. And that appealed to me, that he really he didn't see the borders. Recently, I've been following what's been going on between the president of Turkey and Fethullah Gulen, and the dialogue, and not just between them, but how the media is portraying it. I'm fascinated that that Fethullah is not engaging in the lower fighting that can happen with politics. And I've been impressed with I saw like the most recent interview that was international, I believe. They were almost trying to bait him into saying, oh, come on, pick a fight. And he said, look, I'm not here to pick a fight. I haven't been against anyone or someone. I'm just trying to help the people out. And I respect that approach. I highly respect the education. I think the Hizmet and from Fethullah Gulen is education being, if not the most important thing, something very paramount. I've been highly impressed as well, and I think here in the United States we fall short in studying religion in schools. One doesn't have to profess their religion and say, I am loyal to this religion just because they're studying it. But Gulen, he said, look, study religion. It's part of who we are. Values are part of who we, you can't disassociate that in learning. You can't learn the science, the math, the history, the language arts, and take away who we are value-wise. And that resonated with me. What has been the most significant contributions of Gülen and Hizmet to the world? I think getting people speaking to each other, to understand, getting to move beyond the rhetoric, move beyond what somebody may believe, and look deeper. Interfaith dialogue and what Hizmet does for it, I think this is where Hizmet shines, because I feel respected in my views. If I didn't feel respected, I don't think I would be here. And when others, and they can see where I'm coming from, when in my religion, there are certain things that are haram, just like the alcohol, and I don't drink coffee and tea. And some people in Turkey may go, oh, that's strange. But some people may think, oh, not drinking alcohol is strange. But as we have the understanding, and we use, just even when I say the word haram, people go, oh, I understand. That is a common, I feel the same way as you do about my beliefs. And that interfaith, I think that it really opens up. We tend to see people as different rather than the same. And the media propagates that. It's very easy to say, oh, look at them over there in the Middle East. They speak a different language, and they worship a different God. And ooh, it's scary. No, really, they love God. They may call him a different name, and they may have a different perception of who God is. But they want to serve, and they believe, most religions, that there is something bigger than this life. That we existed before we came here, and after this life there's something else that is even greater. And that commonality is so huge. And when I think about the Jewish, Muslim, and Christian, we all share Abraham as a common father. We all do. And yet that is not brought out. These are important things. And then seeing some of the teachings, I honor and respect what Muhammad has done for billions of people. And I didn't know that through the media. I had to go search it out. And there are a lot of people who are ignorant of that. So there's so much good in the world. And without that interfaith dialogue, it's hard to see. So my perception of Gülen or Hizmet's philosophy on education is that it's paramount. That's what helps us to understand and break the ignorances that we hold. I learned when I went over to Turkey, and I saw how much they valued education. Each parent, each grandparent was looking and was proud of their child, their daughter, their son, in their schooling. How well they spoke English, how well they knew Turkish language, Turkce. And so those things were important. And that goes beyond Turkey, though. That goes even to here. It doesn't have to be a Turkish school. It's the philosophy that learning is the objective. That we're trying to create something bigger outside of ourselves. That perspective, that without the education, it couldn't happen. Education could take place in a hallway, in a conversation with a coworker. Education is learning, and that emphasis, and schools are a great place to propagate that learning. And I think that's probably been, this education has probably been one of the biggest things that Gülen has forwarded, and we can see it across. There's thousands of schools everywhere across the world because of that. How has Hizmet influenced Turkish relations, Turkish international relations? To answer that question, it's phenomenal. I'm excited. It's a brilliant approach, because it's not trying to preach to people. It's meeting people where they are. And I feel respected in my beliefs. I don't feel like I'm being taken away from. Is we meet people where they are, and I think that the idea, because I'll be flat out honest, many Americans, when they think about Muslims, they think about terrorists. And because of 9/11, that's just been further entrenched and further entrenched. And that is not what Turkish people, and that's not what Muslim means. Muslim means peace. There have been a few who have hijacked that religion and said, this is what we're all about, and that's false. And what Hizmet is trying to do, and what I've seen the Divan Center as well here, that first meeting when they tried to help out the raising money for the Hurricane Sandy, they also came out with a statement. There was a terrorist attack around the same time, and they came out with a statement saying, we do not condone this. This is the farthest thing we want to see. We don't believe in this. And so I believe this is incredibly important. Hizmet is trying to cut out an image that we embrace who we are. Let me rephrase this. Hizmet is trying to help those who are Muslim to say, this is who we are. We don't apologize for our religion, but let's share with you what we are doing. In addition, here's who we are as Turkish folks. And I think it's doing a fantastic job by bringing people to Turkey to actually see and discover for themselves. It's not preaching, it's come find out for yourselves. Come meet with people I had dinner in people's homes, and I got to ask them questions. I had to find out what was important to them. They asked me what was important to me. And I like that. It was a mutual interest, a mutual understanding. And I highly applaud what Hizmet has done for Turkish relations.
To the extent that the Hizmet movement has been able to galvanize the imagination and use resources to promote education, to promote peace, to promote interfaith dialogue and understanding, only makes our world a better place.
I think that the Hizmet movement represents some of the very best instincts of Islam. Again, this sense of the common good, this sense that when we are believers, we are doers, that our faith is in action.